Which animal is the best? And by that, I mean which depiction of animals is the best. And I have a couple examples. For realistic depictions, we have Watership Down by Richard Adams and The Captive by Catherine Lasky. These are both two very different books in a lot of different ways, but something that they both have in common is they try to depict their animals in their stories as realistic. And that means they don't do anything that they couldn't do. They don't have hands that can pick things up. They don't wear clothes. They don't interact in a way that isn't animal-like. Yes, they do speak to each other and they do have communication skills that animals don't typically have, but that's about as far as it goes in their depiction. On the other side of things, we have very different stories. We have Animal Farm by George Orwell, and we have Brian Jacques and The Long Patrol. And this is just one of the books of the Redwall series. I just think this cover is really cool, so I wanted to show this one. But these two books approach animals in a very different way, especially Brian Jacques in the Redwall series. You can see it on the cover, they have spears in their hands, they're wearing clothes, they act in a way that's very human. And that's obviously to kind of make it for a children's audience. That's the point. This one's maybe not quite as clear as to how the animals are actually depicted. Sometimes it seems like they're using tools and they're moving around and they're interacting in a way that is kind of human-like. Sometimes they're not. And I don't want to get any spoilers into deep talks on any of these books. You'll have to read them and kind of just see how they are for yourself. And I guess by saying that, I'm indicating that some of these maybe are breaking some of the rules that I'm currently saying. But it's interesting to me to see different depictions of animals in different stories across all genres. You have a more serious book talking about how society works and how we interact with each other in a way that, you know, the animals sometimes seem like they're kind of moving in a way that isn't actually animal-like. In the same vein, in the same type of animal description, anthropomorphism, you have Brian Jacques, and all these animals interact in that way, but it's more geared towards children. Richard Adams, in the foreword to this book, he states that his goal was to make them as animal-like as possible. He gave them a language, but that was about as far as he wanted to go. He did not want to anthropomorphize beyond that. So different authors just have different desires and how they want to write their stories. I'm curious as to what you think and what you like. Is it better to have books with animals where they are very human-like, they stand on two legs, they walk around, they hold things, they're interacting in a way that seems like us? Or is it better when they're birds and they don't have hands and they fly around and they eat worms and they hop from branch to branch and they can turn their head all the way around, but they don't grab stuff, they don't hold swords? It's very animal-esque. Which one is better?